My card is full on my recorder, so it's not recording. I don't know when it stopped recording.
Surprise! Bonus episode. Episode 4.5, I guess. So episodes 1 to 4 were shows 1 to 4 of the tour. And after show number 4 in Munich, we had a day off. And we didn't have to load all the gear in and play a rock show. So yeah, in this episode, me and Lacey are just going to tell you a couple of stories about what we did on our day off in Munich on this tour. And a few stories from other days off, some not so good, some pretty all right ones. And yeah, we'll talk about coffee as usual. You know, every day revolves around coffee. And good food and good times. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. As you may have heard at the start of the episode, that little outtake that I put there, Lacey's recorder stopped working halfway through recording this episode. So the quality does change about halfway through, and I have to go back to using the video call audio, which isn't as clear, but you can still hear what he's saying. So yeah, just as we got the quality of the podcast up to something a bit more reasonable from the start, Lacey then goes and fucks it all up. So blame him, send him some hate mail or something. And yeah, there's no Q&A at the start of this episode, so we're just going to dive straight in. Bonus episode 4.5, here we go.
Hey, and welcome to this bonus episode of the While She Texts podcast. Today, as ever, I'm joined by James, our front of house / TM.
Hello.
This is a bit of a bonus episode that we thought we'd put out just for a little bit of fun. We're going to talk today about something that we don't actually really talk about that often. We're going to talk about days off on tour and how me and James really fucking love them.
Love a day off. Love it.
Love a day off. So usually on a tour, depending on the routing, depending on the band, usually in the case of While She Sleeps, it'll be every 3 to 4 shows we will have a day off, which is fun because we can plan some cool days off. I'm sure I speak for James as well when I say we've done very long tours, old Sleeps tours that we did with no days off.
Yep.
One of the first European tours that I did with you guys was 11 straight shows, 2 days off, and then another 11 straight shows.
Yeah,
and
so roll sometimes.
And by the end of it, I felt like I was in the Matrix. So,
yeah, I think the first tour I did with the guys was 14 straight shows.
Horrible.
So,
that is horrible. But yeah, days off on tour usually occur to give both the band and the crew a rest. Sometimes it's about the travel. Sometimes if you have a long travel to get to the next city, you will be given a day off by the booking agent or whoever's putting together the tour to get from A to B. And sometimes, like in this case, the one that we're going to talk about, it was simply just a day off, which was gratefully received. Just a side note as well, this episode is going to be just me and James because we're the best members. So
yeah, get rid of Aaron, kick him out the chat.
Yeah, Aaron has left the group. Yeah, it's just going to be us guys just talking about our day off and maybe a little bit about days off in general. We might get into that. But yeah, James, talk to us. How do we start the day?
Yeah, so like Lacey said, days off are there just to make sure that, you know, the band and the crew are all getting enough rest during the tour. Gives Loz chance for his voice to rest and he's not destroying it. You know, the last thing we want is for Loz to have another throat surgery. So we'll take care of him from now on.
No one wants that.
And it's also good for everyone's mental health, you know, working a chaotic show like a sleep show every single day, loading in at 10, 11 a.m. every morning, not finishing until 2 a.m. It's quite a long day for us. So to have a day off every few days is definitely needed. Usually day off on a bus usually has to be one of the venues either side of the day off, really, because the bus drivers have to stick to certain rules. When they're driving, they can't drive for a certain amount of time each week and they have to have certain rests, like 24-hour rest days and stuff. So we can't really pick where we want to park. So usually it's at one of the two venues. So in this case, it would have been Munich or Solothurn. And Switzerland is expensive, so we decided that Munich would have been the best option. And after I spoke to the promoters and the venue staff weeks in advance, when I was advancing the tour, they said that we were allowed to park at the venue with power for the next day. So that was very kind of them. And it's meant
that's
that
also a big thing. looking for power and stuff is also a big thing, right? Like, it's easy enough for us to say, oh, we're going to be in this city or wherever, but we have to try and find a venue that has power and the right power for the bus.
We need to park
different
somewhere.
Types of power, isn't there?
Yeah, we need to park somewhere that the bus can get its correct power. Otherwise, we'll just have to leave the engine running to keep the power running. Because if you turn it off, all the lights will go off, all the AC will go off, and we'll just 16 people in that bunk area. We'll boil basically.
Yeah.
So we need to have power, and obviously, it needs to be enough space for us to park. And a tour bus is like 16 meters long, so it's not the easiest thing to find parking for. So usually a venue is the best option. So we stayed at the Munich show, and it was a pretty good day off, to be honest. Obviously, the classic style, the venue is miles away from the city centre.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, that goes without saying, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can't really complain too much because we have had worse days off than this. If you remember on the last tour, we drove back from Spain and we had a lovely day off, 9 hours, all day at a French service station. So
I do remember this. And I remember that no one at the service station spoke any English, which is fine. Yeah. We're in France, but that just to add to the extra frustration.
Yeah.
I also believe it was about 40 degrees.
It was hot.
On pure black tarmac. So that was hot. And then I remember there being a restaurant and they didn't offer any vegetarian, vegan options. Yeah.
But we got that. I think did they bring out some like pasta and tomato sauce and some vegetables?
Yeah, so Marcia, Sab's girlfriend, was out on the tour helping us out. And luckily, she just kind of sat down at the table with all of us struggling to speak any French. And she just fluently asks for some vegetarian pasta. And the woman was like, yeah, no problem. And then comes back with like 9 bowls of vegetarian pasta. And I just remember sitting there just thinking like, I didn't know you could do that. I've been struggling for about 40 minutes and I didn't know that you could do that. So yeah, that day off was stressful. I can remember a few that we've had that have been just stressful. I remember a couple of Switzerland ones that we've had where we've been in, for want of a better expression, the middle of fucking nowhere. And there's just nothing to do. The town's like a 20-minute walk away, and then when you get into the town, the only thing that's open is McDonald's, and you really don't want to eat that 3 times in one day.
Yeah.
Them days off were stressful. So this one was completely the opposite compared to that.
It's quite nice. We're only like 15-minute drive away from the city centre. But I mean, like sometimes if you do a European tour in a van, or if you're on like a mini sleeper that doesn't have to stick to these rules and regulations that the bus driver has to do, then, sometimes we'll go park at a campsite or a lake and just have a nice chill day off in the outdoors, jumping into the lake.
Jump off a bridge, go for a swim. In fact, the first tour that I did with Sleeps was on that mini sleeper, and I had a couple of my favourite days off I've ever had where we just drove by the side of a lake and just went swimming. And our driver at the time, an absolute legend called Pete.
Oh, absolute legend.
He said maybe 3 or 4 words throughout the whole tour until he was near water and he just turned into a different person.
He was like a kid.
I remember pulling up at that lake and him just running down like the jetty thing and just running and diving and swimming and swimming and swimming and swimming, and everyone being like, he's coming back, right?
I've never seen Pete smile so much. He
was so happy. I also couldn't swim when I started working for Sleeps, and I didn't really think about it. I just run down this thing. Everyone was kind of in the mood, so I run down this thing and jumped. And it wasn't until I was in the air that I thought, shit, when I go down, when I hit that water, I can't then swim. But I learned to swim on a day off in Switzerland. We went to, do you remember that swimming pool?
Oh yeah.
So the guy that run it, we turned up, the guy that run it was like, I recognize you guys. And we was like, don't think you do, man. I don't know where we are right now.
Yeah, because we went there just to try and use the showers, didn't we? We were like, we were just trying to blag it. We were like, any chance we could come in and have a shower because we had a day off. But the venue wasn't open that we were parked at. So yeah, and then he was like, oh, do you want to come in for a swim? So yeah,
and he gave us like cards that were good for like 24 hours. And then when we went back in the morning, he had a copy of like Metal Hammer or something with the Sleeps layout in it that he got the guys to sign, which was so sick. The guy was a legend. He let us shower and we got to swim, and it had a massive diving board in it. And he was like, oh, no, the diving board's kind of off limits. And we was like, oh, okay, that's a shame. And then he was like, but not for you guys. And he closed it off for everyone else and let us just go wild. And I actually learned to swim that day. So
Yeah. That was the first time I jumped off a diving board that high.
yeah,
And I'm not going to do it ever again.
That was terrifying.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, that's basically what a day off is about. It's about, having fun, relaxing and doing something different than a chaotic show.
Yeah, taking your mind off, taking stock, relaxing, catching up with everyone. Catching up with everyone back home is a big thing as well. I like to do that on my day off. I'll like ring around everyone back home, make sure they're all good, and take 5 minutes to take stock of where I'm at on the tour, because obviously it gets quite hard throughout the tour. You're working all the time. People back home are working all the time. Before you know it, your lives are crossing and you're not really having any chance to catch up with everyone. So
yeah. So yeah, Munich. This day was pretty chill, to be honest. For a day off, it was quite nice. I think we all just gently woke up at 11 a.m. or something, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. I think a few of us had a few drinks the night before, because obviously it was Roadie Friday. If you know,
classic.
then you know.
Classic.
So yeah, I got up. I think I just had a cup of tea on the bus. Was waiting for everyone else to get up and get ready. And we just came up with a plan that we'd all just share Ubers into the city centre and just spend the day looking for food and coffee, basically. So yeah, I mean, 14, 15 people trying to get ready at the same time on a bus is usually terrifying, because there's not much space.
Comical.
Yeah.
It can get quite comical at times. People are like, "Oh, hang on, I'll just go through this door," and hang on, I'll just go through here. Oh, wait there.
And you're like waiting to like brush your teeth, and like there's 2 people in the toilet already. It's like, how are you getting in there? But yeah, by the time that everyone actually got ready, and that's another annoying thing, is you'll be ready to go. You'll be like, oh, us 5 are going to jump in a taxi, and then all of a sudden 2 more people will wake up and be like, oh, wait for me, I'll come with you. Classic. So then you end up waiting for them, which is always fun. But by the time we actually got everyone together, we decided that we were going to head to the best restaurant in Europe, Vapianos.
Shout out,
as I mentioned
Vapianos.
Last episode.
I know that everyone that works for Vapianos is a big fan of this podcast. Like, if Mr. Vapiano, you are listening, I love your restaurant with everything, and would very much appreciate an endorsement. Not that I'm like fishing or anything, but yeah, Mr. Vapiano, get me that card. I know you're out there.
The Vapiano's card. And just bring Vapianos to the UK, please. Like,
yeah, a good one. I went to one in the UK, I went to one in London, and it was dreadful.
Oh.
It was, I think the only time I've ever been that soul destroyed was when Chelsea lost the Champions League final to Man United and John Terry slipped on the penalty spot.
Oh, God.
Other than that, Vapiano's being crap in the UK was the most soul-destroying situation I've ever had.
Oh, maybe we'll just keep it in Europe then and keep it good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we all decided, jumped in a couple of Ubers, because there was, 10 of us that went or something like that? 8 to 10 of us?
Sounds about right.
And our plan was take laptops in our bags, and we'll go get food at Vapiano's, and then find a coffee shop where we could sit down and do some work on our laptops. So jumped in the Ubers, 15-minute drive away to Vapiano's, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just all turned up there at different times. But it doesn't matter if you go to Vapiano's, because you eat at different times anyway.
Yeah, classic.
So, turned up.
Hang on, Jar, what is your Vaps order?
Oh,
it's been so long since we've been. I'm forgetting what your Vaps order is.
I normally go for the creamy mushroom pasta dish. Can't remember what it's called. And always ask for double mushrooms, always. And then a bit of chili oil, bit of garlic. It's the best one. Bit of bread for the side.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on how I'm feeling, I might add chicken in if I'm feeling like I want a bit of chicken. But usually when I go to Vapiano's, I'm pretty vegetarian, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
What's your order?
So I'm going to sound so bad right now, but remember, I'm a growing lad. I need my food. I get the crema di avocado, which is like the avocado pasta dish, which has got like a little bit of chili in it, a little bit of garlic in it. It's unbelievable. That with some extra peppers thrown in is like, with a grated cheese on top. And then I also get a pizza. I also get a margarita pizza, which I just go between the 2 dishes. I don't even eat one and then eat the other. I will have like a mouthful of pasta and then a mouthful of pizza.
In fact, I think I had a pizza this time.
Yeah, I feel like all of us did. I feel
think
like
me
we
and
all
Matt
went in.
Yeah, me and Matt shared a pizza. We had a mushroom and sweet corn pizza, I think, between us.
Yeah. The other thing about like sometimes with days off, eating can be like sounds weird to say, but like a hard thing to do. So, if you're going back to the bus at a certain time, you want to be full because either you're going to get a delivery late at night, which can be bad for you or can be more expensive. So eating fairly well for fairly cheap is always like an optimum. And Vapianos always provides that. So yeah, pasta, pizza, and their peach iced tea.
Yes.
That stuff is unbelievable.
The iced tea is so good. The peach one, is it black vanilla, the other one?
Yeah, the black vanilla one is fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, always one of them as well. Bottle of still water as well. Smash all of that in and I am good for the next couple of hours.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Vapianos. If you've never been, get on a flight to Europe right now and go.
And bring me back some of the crema de avocado.
Bring me back a peach iced tea.
I did a tour with Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes and I had Vapianos every night, I believe.
Nice.
Including one night I had it twice.
Because I had it. I went out and had it, come back, and then Tank texted me being like, "Oh, I'm going to Vaps during the show. Do you want it?" And I was like, 2 in 1 day is all right, isn't it? Like, yeah. I'm pretty sure that I had it. I think there was like 1 or 2 nights where I didn't eat it. I think I was in Amsterdam and was like eating vegan junk food bar instead. Yeah. Wow. Like every night I was eating it and I regret nothing. My tummy hates me for it because it's getting bigger, but I regret nothing.
The only time I've ever done that is I was on tour with water parks around the UK and I was with Ash Neil and I think it was Johnny, the guitar tech, and every day we had Nando's every day of the tour.
Man, Ash Neil. That sounds like Ash Neil.
Yeah. We took it in turns.
They loved it.
Yeah, we took it in turns at buying the wing roulette between us each night. So we'd all have like a meal each. And then one of us would buy the wing roulette and just stick it in the middle of the table and be like, dig in, boys. Fantastic time. Did it every day without fail. It was so good. But yeah, after we'd been to Vapianos, then we went shopping. We realised that the restaurant was in like a shopping centre, mall type thing. And there was a few shops in there that we went to look around. One I remember was Muji.
Yeah, I love that place.
Yeah, had a good browse around there at every little trinket that they do. Do you remember the name of the other shop? There was like a shop just around the corner from it that's quite similar.
Joe, I can't remember it, and I'm so annoyed because I bought my new knife from there, didn't I?
Yeah.
The shop was absolutely amazing. It was all like Scandinavian style furniture and like accessories and stuff. And I bought a hand carved knife for opening boxes. UK police force, if you're listening, it is legal. It's for opening boxes. Do not come for me. Yeah, and it's a handcrafted wooden handle with like handcrafted steel. It's beautiful. Absolutely lovely thing. Yeah, I can't remember the name of that shop. I remember there being like a row of 3 or 4 of them kind of shops with like Muji and that place. A few other like kind of like minimalist furniture places, which are, considering we're meant to be or live in this like party rock and roll dream, we do love to go and look at furniture on tour.
Yeah. Matt Welsh loves it. He likes to buy furniture on tour.
Matt Welsh buzzes off of it. Do you remember that time we bought a massive plant pot in Switzerland again?
Yeah.
In Switzerland. And we had to take it all around Europe. And I don't know where that ended up.
It's in his house somewhere.
Yeah, probably. It's just tucked away now with like Nelson will know where it is. Us guys won't. We looked all around Europe. I remember at one point it being in the bay and being like, what the fuck is
just
this
constantly
thing
in the way for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like trying to put your suitcase away and it's just like there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like the size of me as well. It was a good high plant pot holder. I'm not talking like a little like just off the floor thing. This thing was fucking tall.
Yeah. Classic Matt Welsh, that.
Classic Matt Welsh.
But yeah, after we did a little bit of shopping, do you want to tell us where we went after that, Lacey? Because you were vibing this place all day and wanted to take everyone there.
Yeah, so we went to the coffee place, Man vs. Machine, which is absolutely superb. It's actually one of my favourite coffee shops in that part of the world. Every time I go, the customer service is always great. They're one of the few coffee shops that you can go in and you can talk to their baristas, and they have a wide range of knowledge, and they'll talk to you either in simple terms if you're just getting into coffee, but I talk to you more in depth if you know what you're talking about a little bit. When we were sat at Vapianos, I'd been complaining about wanting to go to Man versus Machine all day, and I looked up on where we was on the map, and it turned out to be like a 15-minute walk, I think.
Yeah.
So I just kind of rounded up everyone that was interested in coffee, because generally what we do on a day off is we will get together, a few of us. I know it's always me, you, and Matt, and sometimes some of the others are there as well. We'll get together and do a little bit of like laptop-based work, jar us some work emails and whatever else. I have a few things, a few numbers, and Matt's always design it. So the idea was to go to Man versus Machine and just sit there for a little while, which I was so excited about because I was going to drink about 20 flat whites because their coffee is always on point. The 15-minute walk turned out to be about 25 minutes because I got lost on the way.
But it was quite nice. Walked off that pasta from Vapiano's.
Yeah. I think we took there was like a back route that we took past some like really cool looking shops, and Munich's a cool city anyway. So yeah, and we got there and I was really excited. I like stroll in, I'm like getting ready to take my bag off, and I look around and there's about 3 tables, which I knew this anyway. I was so annoyed at myself because I knew this anyway. I've been before. And there's like 3 tables, all of them taken up by people doing work, not looking like they're going anytime soon. And I turn around with every intention of apologizing to you guys, and Matt was just Matt, they're like, I'd just taken his firstborn child away from him. Absolutely horrified in me. But the most important thing is, we was there for about 20 minutes while I think the guys ordered some coffees.
Yeah, I had a coffee there.
Yeah, I drank 3 flat whites in that time that we were there.
Yeah,
because they had 3 different roasts on, and they had a batch brew. So I was like, right, I had 3 different flat whites, and then I got a batch brew to go. And I remember walking down the road thinking, like, this is where I die. This is where the caffeine finally catches up to me. I was like shaking, I was sweating, and yeah, I thought, this is it. But we went to did we try to go to a Starbucks because the idea was to go and sit down and plug in laptops and work, right?
Yeah, because I think we at that coffee shop we sat at the end of the bar basically. Like there was no tables or anything, but we sat where like you collect your coffee from while we were waiting for everyone's orders to go through. And then we decided we'd walked past the Starbucks like 5 or 10 minutes ago. So we're like, well, let's just head back there. Always tables at Starbucks, go there, sit down, get the laptops out for an hour. So let's walk back to that first Starbucks that we saw. And same thing again, walked in. There was big old space full of tables, but every table had a person on it. So
classic.
Yeah, that was very disappointing because normally Starbucks is the one on a day off. Sit down. Like we had a day off in Munster on the tour before. We spent literally 5 hours in that Starbucks, I think.
I think it was longer than that, dude. I'm sure you was there when I woke up and I like swung through and I was like, right, I'm going to go find good coffee because I try to avoid Starbucks coffee unless I absolutely have to. Unless it's a filter coffee. I'd just like to get that in there. I know I'm come across as a bit of a snob sometimes, but I do drink the Starbucks filter coffee. Yeah, I'm sure that you guys were there when I woke up and I went across to where you were, and I'm sure you was there all day. I was like just trying to find places to go or do things to get out of the coffee shop. I was going fucking ages, like climbing up the walls.
We were there a while, definitely.
Yeah.
We made friends with the people who worked in the Starbucks. They recognised the band, so they brought us over some like Munster Starbucks cups, and we're like, "Hey guys, have
I found that. Yeah, I found my one the other day, which was cool. Them guys were cool. I think by the end of it, they just got sick of us going up and just brung us coffee to the table.
Yeah, they were cool. And then they came to a show a few days later as well. So I think they said they missed out on the Munster show. So because they were so nice,
then they travelled.
I gave them guest list for I can't remember what show it was.
No,
somewhere close.
It was it was somewhere like an hour's radius. Also, that same day that we was in Munster was the day that them kids come up, and I'm sure they like shook Matt's hand or something. And as they shook Matt's hand, like the guy like lifted his sleeve and had like a huge sleeve symbol tattooed on his wrist. Remember that? Legend.
That was a good day off as well.
Yeah, that was. But yeah, let's stick to this one. Let's stick to this one because so we went to Starbucks number 1 and that was busy.
Yeah, so then we thought, right, Google Maps, where's close? Another Starbucks. And went to the next Starbucks. This was a smaller one. It only had a couple of tables, and that one was full as well. So, just decided to grab some Ubers back to the venue because I'd arranged it the day before that the venue manager was going to be in anyway. So they said we could go into the venue and have showers. So we thought we'd head back there and just see if they'd let us sit in the backstage room and we could set an office up there.
Yeah.
Jumped into Ubers and headed back there. Went back to the dressing room we had the day before. Set up a little office in there. And do you remember who was in the venue playing some loud music?
Oh, dude, this was the sickest thing. So in the morning we had seen that Every Time I Die guys, they were like, oh, we're just going to go get some, I'm sure they were just going out for lunch, and then they were like, we're going to come back here and chill. So we was like, yeah, cool, if we cross paths, that'd be cool, whatever. We didn't. And we go back to the venue and we went in to set up, and Every Time I Die were like live writing their new album that they may have finished just recording it, I think, but they were like live writing it, like playing through some bits. They had the amps out, and they were just getting everything dialed in and everything.
Yeah, because they went to the studio the day after the Manchester show. They flew back.
Yeah, that's right. They flew straight to the studio. So I think they might have just been getting something dialed in on one of their songs, but that was fucking great. And because Every Time I Die, the only time they're not loud is when they're not playing their instrument. Like around the venue, they'll be so like quiet and respectful, and then they'll pick up an instrument and it is like being punched in the face by a double-decker bus or something. They're so loud, which is sick because they always sound great. And yeah, that was a really cool thing to kind of walk in and they were doing that, because I had no idea. I don't think any of us did really. So it was really cool to be sat like doing work. I know Matt was doing design. He was actually designing one of the prints. Was it the Manchester one?
Yeah, I think so. Manchester or Brixton, because
we decided, we didn't mention it in the episode, but
at the Brussels show, when we went to the avocado show in the morning for breakfast, that was the day when we decided to do the limited edition prints and t-shirts for the Brixton and Manchester shows. Like, we were having a coffee that morning and we were like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did limited prints? So we brainstormed some ideas. I think you came up with the idea of doing like sleeps, but in the Oasis font.
The Manchester show.
Which didn't work out right. Matt tried to design it and it looked a bit off. But we found an even better way of doing it, which we'll talk about in another episode, because that story's fun.
We'll talk about that in the next episode, because the picture was taken at the next episode, at the next show.
Yeah, we'll talk about that there. But yeah, we come up with the idea. I come up with an Oasis idea just kind of off the top of my head about a t-shirt that I wanted more than anything.
Yeah.
I wanted a Sleeps Oasis t-shirt because Oasis are one of the best bands ever. And then that kind of snowballed into we did the Clash rip-off as well, which was awesome. We put Loz on a t-shirt doing
and I think the picture on the front of that is the picture from the Munich show as well.
Yeah, I think so. So there we go. We tied it all together in a roundabout way. But so Matt was designing stuff. He was designing the prints. I think me and you had some like emails to do. I know I had some numbers to check, just do general laptop-based work, and listening to Etid play new stuff through, which was just so sick, so sick. And then we ordered an insane amount of McDonald's, I believe.
Yeah, I just went on Deliveroo and just clicked one of everything, please. It was a big old order of McDonald's, and when he eventually made it, it took a while to get there.
Yeah, it really did.
That backstage room must have just stunk of McDonald's the next day.
We had so much food, but it was good.
We did, because they do the McVegans out in Germany.
Yeah.
And then things are insane. Man, I miss European food. Yeah.
But then we just chilled in that backstage room for a bit, just doing some work. I think I was advancing the American tour, because that was coming up the month after. Yeah, I was just sending emails to like 30 different American people and trying to organise our travel and driver and stuff over there.
Sick.
Yeah, and it was a chill day in there. Then we cleaned up the room and headed back to the bus and just chilled out for a bit. I don't think anything crazy happened.
No, not like I remember. I remember like just playing a bunch of FIFA. We played some of that game that family brought us, and just kind of, I think that was one of them nights where everyone chilled. Instead of there being some people drinking or whatever, it was just one of them nights where everyone chilled.
So yeah, there you go. Day off in Munich.
Day off. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Good coffee, not so good coffee, shopping, vapianos, and did I watch any football this day? I think this might have been a rare day where there was no football, but I was probably watching reruns. So yeah, day off, smashed it. Next show, should we get a guest for the next show? Should me and you, should we just do it forever because we're clearly the best at
I mean, obviously it's better if it's just me and you, but I reckon we should get one of my favourite people in the entire world on next week.
I mean, all the crew were my favourite people in the entire world.
But next week's guest is the best vibe guy ever.
I agree. He is, as vibe guys go, he's probably the best in the land.
Always good vibes.
So yeah, if you have any guesses at who it's going to be, drop us a DM. Yeah, cool.
Let's end it as we usually do and say bye.
Bye.
Yes, bonus episode. There you go. Day off in Munich. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go like, rate, subscribe, share, review, all those words. Do all of them on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or whatever. And head to the Instagram page. Make sure you like that. Share the posts. Make sure you tag us in any story posts that you do, and we'll be sure to share it. And any questions you have, you know where to find us. And if you really enjoyed the episode and you'd like to donate towards the running cost of the podcast, you know where to go. Head to the Instagram page, click that link in the bio, and there's a donate button there to do it via PayPal. Cool. I guess we'll see you on Monday for the next episode. Until then, bye.